to Shrewsbury Early Years.
Thank you for having me today.
It's absolutely great to have you here. Let me show you around.
Can you explain to us more about the early years curriculum at Shrewsbury Bangkok City Campus? Because I'm sure that parents who are selecting school for their children would like to learn more about the curriculum itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our earliest curriculum here at Shrewsbury City Campus is based initially on the earliest foundation stage curriculum that is from the United Kingdom, and that is developed into two areas. We have our prime areas of learning and our specific areas of learning. The prime areas of learning are our personal and social and emotional development, which we work with the children and families, our physical development and communication and language. And then we have our specific area, which is the creative arts, our understanding of the world, and our literacy and our maths. So a little bit more of the academics, but that's what we use as our baseline to be able to support our children and develop our curriculum and plan for our children's learning. But we are really fortunate enough here because we're able to cherry pick the best pedagogies from around the world. Right. So we use many different aspects such as the Reggio Emilia pedagogy and philosophy to be able to influence and weave into our curriculum. And we also use other curriculums such as our forest school curriculum, and we use things like our high scope curriculum which support the children in helicopter stories. So there's lots of different elements to our curriculum, but the baseline is our earliest foundation stage from the United Kingdom, and then we weave into that the Reggio Emilia philosophy. So we're heavily inspired by Reggio Emilia.
So many parents are they're a little bit confused about the Reggio Emilia approach. Many schools have been mentioning about it. Can you explain to us in simple terms?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so many schools that will say that they're Reggio inspired, and I can understand where the confusion comes from. It is quite a complex philosophy that people need to get their heads around. So let me just explain a little bit about it so that people can understand. But Reggio Emilia, first of all, many people think is a person.
Right.
And actually it's not a person. It's not a person like Maria Montessori. Reggio Emilia is a place in Italy. It's a city in Italy, in the north of Italy. And the Reggio Emilia philosophy started after World War II. After the devastation of World War II, the city of Reggio Emilia in Italy really thought about what they needed for the future. They didn't want to have that again happening to their city. They didn't want people to have conflict. So they looked at the democracy, bringing democracy into the education. They looked at collaboration, and they made sure that they were ensuring that the horrors of World War II were not going to happen again in the future. And they brought that into the curriculum as a whole community. So community was really important is really important in Reggio Emilia, and stays the same now. And what the cornerstones of the Reggio Emilia philosophy really are is, first and foremost, the image of the child. The child is seen as capable and competent and able to lead their own learning. And that's really important. Mm-hmm. And that brings me on to the 100 languages. Another element of the Reggio philosophy is the 100 languages of children. And what that means is that children can learn in a multitude of ways. It doesn't have to be through writing or through reading. It can be through the arts. We can see here what the children are doing. This could be one of the 100 languages. It can be through the arts that the children learn. It can be through the language of clay. It can be through the language of fabric. We're doing a fabric atelier at the moment, and the role of the adult has been very important as well. And of course, another element is the documentation of that learning. So as the children learn, we need to document that really carefully. And as educators, we need to be able to discuss that with each other, have conversations about what it means, and then we're able to then set up and put things in the environment to support the children move on with their learning. So I hope that explains a little bit about Reggio.
It explains a lot about Reggio, like especially you go back to the history, and I can see that like the approach is very impressive and very important for students to develop and learn and grow.
Yes.
And now I would like to learn more about how do you put together the EYFS framework along with the Reggio inspired environment, and how can they come together in practice? Can you show me more?
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we take a look in one of our classrooms and I'll be able to explain it in more depth.
Sure.
Come on in. Hello. Hi Tisha, hi Alita. Welcome to one of our early years classrooms. So what you'll see in this classroom and in all of our classrooms is that the environment is set up differently in each classroom because we're following the interests of the children, and we know by following the interests of the children we'll get much deeper learning. So I'll explain to you a little bit about each of the stations. Here we've got some maths that is linked to the children's learning. You can see our tens frame. We've used children's pictures to be able to make it more meaningful for them. And they're able to engage in the maths, and you can see the children engaging in that at the moment. And what we do with the tens frame is that they know that these are tens frames. And when the 10 is full, they know that that's 10, and then we can add 2 more onto the next frame, so they're understanding the concept of maths. So then if we move on to another element of our curriculum, we've got our phonics curriculum over here, and you can see the children are using their phonics awareness to make books and to be able to develop their literacy skills. So again, we do follow a scheme of work that teaches systematic phonics, which is in our Read, Write, Ink. Let's take a look at some of the books, and you'll be able to see the progress that the children have made. So you can see at the start of the year, they're starting to learn to write. Let's have a look here. So this is right at the beginning of the year, and you can see their development. And then as we move right through, they're starting to write simple sentences and words, and that's using the phonics. But then we'll take that phonics to be able to start to write books that the children created themselves, learning. Oh wow! I think Ink wants to show us something. Ink, can you read to us what that says? What's this one say? This is my friend. Is this your friend here? So what you can see there is that the children are personalizing and contextualizing the learning. So the children will take their phonics and then they'll bring it into something that's meaningful for them.
And what's the proper teacher and student ratio for each age group?
Sure, so in our nursery we have up to maximum of 12 children in a class. At the moment we have about 10 in our nursery classrooms, and we have 4 adults there because they're 2 to 3 years old. So we have a QTS qualified teacher from the United Kingdom, 2 TAs, and then a nursery aide. Then when we get to year EY1 and EY2, we have 2 TAs and a QTS qualified teacher from the United Kingdom with a maximum of 15 children in the class, and the children are a little bit older and a little bit more independent.
Right. But before we move on to see different part of the hub, I would like to know, how can you ensure that students are making progress?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a really crucial point, and we do need to be able to ensure that children are making progress. So we've got a number of different ways that we assess children. We have our daily assessments, which is called our formative assessments. So that would be the teachers observing and taking observations of the children and looking at their learning and using that to inform their next day's planning and the conversations with other adults. Then we have not only do we have our early years foundation stage to guide us, but we also have phonics assessments that are done every 6 weeks. So we do phonics assessments with the children to be able to make sure that they're making progress, and we reassess them and know how to move them forward in their phonics. The other thing that we do is we have what we call pupil progress meetings. So we bring the data together from the early years foundation stage. We bring our phonics data, we bring our wellbeing data as well, and we meet as a senior leadership team and a year group team. So all the teachers from the team come with our assessment lead. We look at the data and we're able to identify which children need to have maybe a little bit more interventions or support, or we look at the cohort as a whole and we say, oh, actually, we're looking at the physical development, there's a gap there, what do we need to do, what do we need to put in the environment to make sure that the children are meeting that. So there's many different ways that we ensure that our children are making progress. So let's go out and I'll show you a little bit more of our EY Hub, okay?
And we come to the last question for today, but last but not least, can you explain what makes EY here, the early years education here, so special?
Oh, yes, I'd love to. You know what really makes early years here so special is the people and the community. hey, there you go, for example. The people and the community are the ones, hello, that make early years so special. And we just think about all of the children coming in every morning. They come running in through the gates. They're so happy to come here to school. The families have got a fantastic communication and collaboration and relationships with our teachers and the wider community. I've already spoken about our teachers, but the people that support our children, like the catering staff and the maintenance staff that are able to support building and developing the environments. That's the most important thing I think here what makes City Campus so unique and so special is the people and the community. Then the other areas that make it special is our facilities, our beautiful spaces. We've got sensory rooms, we've got splash pools, we've got our forest school, we have got the beach area, the atelier room upstairs as well. So there's so many facilities that make our early years a really special place to be in.
Right, it's actually clear to me, and especially today I get to talk to the expert of the early years education. So thank you very much, Ms. Cath, for your time today. And I can see now why kids here are very intelligent and also they are happy kids.
Yes, very happy kids. Thank you so much for coming to enjoy our space and allowing us to share it with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.